Derrick Parker, the hip hop cop. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. The videotape of Diddy beating Cassie. What were your thoughts when you first saw it?
Well, when I first saw that video of Diddy assaulting Cassie in the hotel, I was shocked that he would behave like that. I mean, that tape was very damaging. I mean, people were going to look at that tape and they're going to really judge him, and they did.
Right. Now, CNN leaked it on a Friday. Now, it was brutal. It was him coming out in the towel. He kicked on the ground. Like, what's... Do you... I mean, I can't even... Did you even believe what you were seeing, or...
I couldn't believe that he acted that way, but like I said, everybody's capable of anything, and the DA's office, they can't do anything with that tape. I mean, they viewed it. I'm sure everybody saw that tape and viewed it. But right now, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office already made a statement that they couldn't do anything with it. They can't go any further with it because there's a statute of limitations. It happened in 2016. This is 2024, which was 8 years ago. Perhaps if they had that tape sooner, then they would have done something, but they couldn't.
Right. So, okay, now let's talk about that. Why did it take so long to come out? Like,
Well, I think what happened, from what I know, is that Diddy purchased the video from the hotel so they wouldn't release it. What agreement was made between them and how much money was exchanged, I don't know the true amount. Somebody said it was $50,000 to buy the tape, but apparently what happened is either the agreement with the reference to the tape ran out and somebody decided to leak it, or the hotel had somebody else purchase the tape or sold it to someone and they leaked it.
Right. Now, how is this going to be used, do you think, federally against him?
Well, this tape will show a pattern of behavior. With all the stuff going on as far as the allegations that were made by her, Cassie, made by Rodney Jones, and made by a few other people about his behavior, especially with the sexual assaults and things like that, this kind of hurts him because it lets credence to what people have been saying about him. So it could be used in the federal court of law to show a pattern of behavior.
You said, I think we talked off camera, you told me that this could pick up the pace on his case as far as...
Well, this will accelerate. This video will probably accelerate his federal case that he has now with the feds, because if there's a big public outcry as to what he did that everybody observed and saw. I'm sure that tape went around to the whole entire world. So everybody saw that video. So now the government's probably under the gun to do something because of the violent behavior that he displayed in that video.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think the hotel could be liable in some sort of way?
I don't know. I can't. I mean, from what I know, they're reporting that he bought the tape, so he could have bought it, and the hotel could have kept an extra copy for themselves, or somebody could have gotten a hold of that tape through the hotel, because it seems like it had to come from the hotel. So unless somebody else bought it and purchased it, and CNN was the one that got it exclusively, so one would have to think that CNN. How did they get it? They got it from somebody. Somebody gave it to him.
Now, there's been speculation that maybe this is a tape member he had, and the feds found it during the raids at his homes.
You know what? That could be, but I don't think the federal government would release any video right now. I don't think the government would have done that because they don't want to screw up their case. So They wouldn't release that. It had to be coming from someone else that had that tape. That maybe CNN got a hold of it somehow, whether they bought it or whatever, and they had it exclusive, so they got it exclusively, so they released it, and it really looked bad.
Right. So, will the feds, you think, with this being out and about, do you think the feds will investigate the source of that?
Yeah, the feds will probably look into who leaked the tape. That's a definite. They'll probably find out who leaked the tape, but. The LA District Attorney's Office was very smart because they put out their public statement by Monday saying why they couldn't prosecute the case, so they don't want the public to be outraged against them, saying they weren't doing their job. Right. So the District Attorney's Office put out a memo or a statement saying, hey, look, we can't prosecute this case because of this. And that's just the way the law is. So that's why they covered themselves.
You think Diddy's done as far as his career because of this tape?
I think his career is in jeopardy. Let's put it that way. I think I was reading today that 16, anywhere from 15 to 20 sponsors have dropped him. So it definitely hurt his brand. You know, he's going to be losing money, losing endorsements. And, you know, there have been celebrities that already condemned him and powerful people in the music and entertainment world that are not following him anymore on Instagram and speaking out against the violent act that he committed against Cassie.
Did you ever see this? You dealt with Puffy during like years ago. Did you ever see this, some sort of...
I wasn't around, well, I call him Puff. Everybody calls him Diddy. I wasn't around him like that to see that type of behavior. When I arrested him a couple of times, it was because of, you know, the violence that was committed by him at that time, or he was implicated in some kind of in a situation where we had to investigate. But as far as me knowing and speaking with him, I would have never thought he would have been like that.
Right. Because there's a lot of people think that you're kind of pro Puffy.
I'm not. Listen, anybody can change. You know, I think money and power, and maybe the way he went up to the status that he was in, maybe he got a little besides himself, and you know, thought who he was. I think the smart thing that he did was that he did that statement, that video, and put it out where he put a public apology. The public is a little bit not up on what's up with that apology. For example, I think that he had to publicly apologize, which was a good idea, but he couldn't mention her name and she can't mention his name. That was the agreement in the deal that they finalized, that he would no longer mention her name and she would no longer mention his name, and they would keep it out in the public eye, you know? So that was that. But it's not about being pro-Puff. It's, listen, I knew him to be a certain way. People do change, and hopefully behind what just happened, maybe he can make amends. You know, maybe he can ask for forgiveness, and maybe he can, you know, go to some women's groups, be more supportive, be more proactive as far as domestic violence is concerned, because that's definitely domestic violence.
And not only that, I believe you're a man, since your background in law enforcement is innocent until proven guilty.
Right. Well, it's always like that with us. It's always, but when you see a video like that, there's not much you can really say he didn't do X, Y, and Z. But it's just, like I said, the smartest thing that he did was to do the apology. Now the next thing to do is to show people that, you know, I changed. I'm sorry for how I behaved and how that got out, and that's not me.
Right, let's talk about that. The video of him beating Cassie came out on a Friday. He did that, he made that apology via Instagram on a Sunday. Now, obviously, I don't think you have to be Einstein to tell, like, listen, the apology doesn't come off genuine. What do you think?
Well, listen, I mean, I don't know what to say. I think whoever handles him, his people, that was the right thing to do, to have him come out. He had to, because that tape came out Friday, like you said, and it was over the weekend. So by Monday morning, when the press and everything is out doing the daily news and things like that, he's got to put that out there, which was a smart move. I'm being honest with you. It was very smart that he did do the apology. Will people accept it? I don't know, but it was the right thing to do, to make a public apology about his behavior and to try to get help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there was some talk of him being in rehab and this and that, and there was video of him being spotted out and around his home. I'm not sure if it was...
I mean, you've seen him. He looks like... Listen, you don't think that this affects him? Of course it does. It affects him big time. Don't let anybody fool you. He's hurting inside. This video really damaged him a lot. So it's definitely hurting him.
Yeah, but like the people would say, is he... Well, he does look like he's... when that video of him that I'm speaking of, does look like a defeated man. But again, like, what... Is he sorry that he got caught, that he came out? Or is he sorry that he really did these things?
Well, I'm pretty sure, I can't speak for him, so right. I don't know what his mindset is, but I'm sure he's probably sorry that it got out, and he's sorry for what he did. Both things, you know, right. That he, unfortunately, it got out. And like you said, this is something now that really hurt him. Financially, publicly, his image. Excuse me.
There were talks of, because Eric Adams, I think, what was it?
He wants to revoke the key to the city. The
Right,
mayor.
gave him a
I know the mayor. I know the mayor very well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, the public outcry is still out there. And everybody who watched that video is outraged. And even the mayor. I mean, listen, he stands by he stands by for what he believes in. And he believes that this was wrong, the mayor. I'm not speaking for the mayor. I don't know what he's thinking. But
Right.
from what I read, he's looking to revoke the key to the city because of what he saw. And he's really upset that Diddy would behave in this way, and for him to honor him with the key to the city and this came out is more embarrassing. So I think the right thing to do is probably to revoke the key,
What does that even initially mean, a key to the city? Is that actually...
It just means that he's like an ambassador. They respect him. They love him. He's a New Yorker. He's the man in the city. When people get the key to the city, you're like the man of the year. You're like the man of town and stuff like that. Excuse me. Well, so he, everybody loved Diddy. Diddy had great parties. He did a lot of good things. But now this is the evil side that's coming out of him. And people are seeing that other side of him that's coming out, which is not a good side. And people are commenting on it.
I thought the key to the city was actually like a physical key that would lead you to a door.
No, yeah, everybody thought that. No, it's the key. It's like, the mayor respects him as an ambassador to the city of New York that he's from. But now, in light of this new evidence, he's thinking about taking the key back and revoking it, saying that I can't bestow this type of title on you in lieu of what you did to this woman, and it's on video. Because, he's against, I know the mayor's totally against domestic violence. That's not something that he wants, even though he has there's some things that came out about him as well. So
Diddy's son came out, before this tape came out, Diddy's son came out with a diss track, dissing 50 Cent, dissing anybody who would say no Diddy. He would do something physically to them if anybody around him would say no Diddy. And the most, I think, highlight of that track is he said something to the effect of, we own the house next to us, that's the one that you didn't raid.
I mean, I wouldn't have said that. That was bad to say that, but
Right.
but look, that's his father, so he's trying to protect his father from any further people talking bad about him. So I think he's young, so going about it that way is probably the wrong way. It's not the right way, but it's his son, and he's upset that people are coming after his father like that.
So we can't be surprised that the feds raided the other house.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they looked into it and see what was going on over there at the other house, and those people are going to be mad that he gave that up.
Right.
But
don't you think the feds? I don't know how it works. I'm guessing the feds could look up what fucking property you own.
Oh yeah, the feds will find out everything. You find out anything about you, me, anybody.
I mean, before they even raid something. Right?
Oh yeah, they'll find out who lives there, what's going on there. They'll find out things. That's why they call the federal government.
right. Now, one thing, 'cause I wanted to clarify, Homeland Security. Because usually when you hear Homeland Security, we think of like terrorists.
Well, the Homeland Security guys, they deal with a lot of things. They deal with, the reason that they get involved in these cases because of the sex trafficking and interstate and the airlines. That was the Homeland Security. People coming into the country, Homeland Security. You affecting our homeland. So who are these people coming in, or what criminal activities are being done abroad that are coming here to the United States? So Homeland Security get involved with that. There's still an agency, a federal agency that gets involved. They still have police powers and things like that, so they can conduct their own investigations.
Right. What do you think of Puffy's former, just inner people would have thought today? Like, for example, someone like Zip, if he was, alive to see all of this.
Zip, I don't know. Well, I can't speak for Zip, but he probably would stay far away from Diddy right now. Everybody's staying away from Diddy. You hear it all the time. All the celebrities, all the people in the business, everybody's probably turned their back on him to stay away and not even want to be around him because they don't want the spotlight to go on them.
Mm-hmm. So, going back to what you said in the beginning, this accelerates. Is that the word?
Accelerates
the federal.
It does. I mean, this attorney spoke about it the same way on the newscast he was on. He said the same thing that I said, that the federal government is under the gun now because of this development, in the case, because what it does is shows a pattern of violence. And there's all these outraged people, not to mention the women's groups, people against domestic violence. This is the public outcry is big. So something's probably got to be done about this. And people feel like he got away with this, and nobody charged him. So they're probably saying now, like, the government's got to say, oh, shoot, we got to really step up our game on this now and do what we have to do. But I'm sure that they have a lot. They're not going to be rushed by anyone, but I'm sure that they've probably sped up some of the things they're going to do.
Right. I'm pretty sure, Puff has a lot of the best attorneys around him and advising him.
Oh, yes.
So what do you think he's preparing at the moment?
Well, his attorneys were preparing. If I was his attorney, the first thing I would do is I would call, be in touch with the government, which I'm pretty sure they have. And if anything comes out of my client, that you would notify me first, so I could get a heads up on it before it goes to the press, because they're gonna have to do a press release, and it's gonna have to go out. So hopefully the attorneys will get notified first, so they can prepare a defense for him.
Like an indictment or arrest.
Indictment or arrest, yes. That was like a very big case. That was a very big case. This is a big case for Diddy. I hope that, God forbid nothing happens, but this is a big case as well. And, people, may not see the light of this, where maybe, they might go really depressed and, do something foolish.
Right. So do you think, would you be surprised if you see him like going on a run on a jet, or he...
I don't think he would do that, because I think his lawyers are in touch with everything and people have been talking to him. But you never know. I can't say and predict what he would do and what he wouldn't do. But I would hope he would just answer up to what he's done and then call it a day.
Or harm himself in any way.
Right. I would hope he wouldn't harm himself. That would be bad for his family too,
Right. Well, what else? Anything else that you want to touch on?
No, this is just something that happened with these rappers and people in this industry sometimes. And this is why I always speak out against the violence in the industry sometimes. It's okay to make records and go out here, and all these rappers, I see them all the time. They want to bag bitches, as they always say to me, and get girls and make money. And that's what you should do. You're an artist. Go out, make your money, do what you got to do, but stay out of trouble, Unless something comes to you and you have no choice and something happens, I get it. But other than that, you should try to avoid as much trouble as you can, because you're an artist. You want to go out here and you want to keep your brand alive and make money and perform and have people buy and respect your music,
Right. If you were able to talk to Puffy one-on-one, what would you tell him?
If I was to talk to Diddy right now, I would say, man, what the hell is wrong with you? I would say that to him, and then I would just tell him that, listen, man, you're going to have to really change. You're going to have to really change your image. He's taking a big dive. It's like a nosedive, where the brands and everything is hurting him. And, I talked to him in the past, but like I said, I can only talk to people. They're going to do what they want to do. You could say this or say that, but, the stuff that I've seen, the thing what he did, I think he just got out of control again. He just maybe let that power, that fame get to him a little bit, and, doing things the way he did with her, unacceptable.
Right. Well, there it is. Any last words?
Nope. I just hope that this Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef stays on records and doesn't get into the streets, because summer is coming and it's going to be hot.
Right. Bullets will be flying, probably.
Huh?
I said bullets will be flying.
I hope not, man. You already had, and this is what I mean about hip hop, and I'll say this and I'll let it go. Like Drake and Kendrick Lamar are dissing each other on music, right? And the radio stations are really playing their songs, one diss track after another. And the problem is now, we don't know if the security guard at Drake's home when he got shot, what it was for. Was it a dispute he had? Was it some prior thing? Was it because of Drake? Because of his beef with Kendrick Lamar? And then two intruders came by Drake's house and they were arrested. So now he's got problems. And then now you got the summer's coming, and these guys are definitely going to meet somewhere down the line. Their entourages, whether it be in New York or LA or Miami or Atlanta. So you got to be cognizant of what's going on.
Right. Because we've seen this time and time again.
I've seen it time and time again. Yep. And you got to keep the peace, man.